Today, we're going to talk about Cardano security because if this ecosystem blows up, we're going to be even bigger targets than we already are. Ready? Let's go. Cardano security is a big topic, and we've got a lot of items to cover. But before we do that, we're going to look at some very encouraging Africa expansion news from John O'Connor. John O'Connor tweeted, "Today I wrote a letter to a president, found 1 million users to bring onto hashtag Cardano, and had a damn good cup of coffee. It's only midday, looking forward to the afternoon. Love being a part of the input-output Hong Kong gang." So we don't know who these 1 million users are. We don't know which president that was, but this is super encouraging. I haven't recently seen any other crypto project with a director of operations just randomly, casually saying, "Hey, I found 1 million new users to bring onto our project." In fact, I haven't seen anybody from any project say that ever. It looks like the Cardano train is rolling along as smoothly as ever in Africa. Down below, somebody asked John about the coffee he said he was drinking. He replied, it was Ethiopian Sidamo. Somebody replied to that comment, "I'm going to look for it just in case I can't find it. I'll send you some ADA and you send me some coffee." I don't know about you guys, but I would prefer that John be working on government relations in Africa and not sending us coffee. But as luck would have it, I am actually drinking Ethiopian Sidamo Guji coffee right now, and I know where to get it. We don't have a Cardano outlet for Ethiopian coffee yet, but I do like to support any country that's supporting our ecosystem. So Fresh Roasted Coffee has several different types of Ethiopian coffee, a bunch of other African coffees, and they've got several types of Ethiopian Sidamo coffee. I'm actually drinking this one right now, Ethiopian Sidamo Guji. It's excellent, and the price is there, especially if you're a coffee fiend like me and you buy a lot of it. I buy these giant 5-pound bags. The prices are awesome. Their shipping is also really fast. Check it out at the affiliate link in the box below. If you use that link, I make a small commission. If you're watching this video, you're already a target for bad guys who want to steal your Cardano. Almost every day, I'm deleting comments down below these videos, and they're scammers. They try to lure you into WhatsApp or Telegram or some other platform. They try to bring you somewhere else. The scam posts always say something like, "Hey, crypto trading is so interesting. Crypto trading is complicated. You need to listen to the advice of trading guru, Gary Roberts. He's made me a lot of money." And then there will be a bunch of bot posts beneath the initial comment that are sort of trying to reinforce what the initial comment said. These are always scams, right? They're always trying to get you to go somewhere where they can work on you and try to get you to send them your Cardano. That's what those posts are. It's almost every single day. And the reason they're doing it is because it works sometimes. So if anybody on any platform tells you they want to expose you to some master of crypto trading or help you trade in some way, and they want you to go to some other platform, or they just want to start talking to you, know that those are scammers. Those are always scams. Another place we see this type of activity that's always a scam is at the start of YouTube videos. Sometimes an ad will run, and it's always like a video of some crypto luminary, Charles Hoskinson, Vitalik Buterin, somebody else. And they're usually giving a speech or doing like an AMA, and they've just stolen that video. They play the video, and then they have a bunch of text there that says, "Hey, I'm trying to, increase decentralization of our project. If you send me 1 Cardano, I'll send you 2 back." Something like that. Always a scam. Never fall for this. Always a scam. The first big thing in crypto security is do not send your crypto to anyone. Don't send your crypto to anyone. As crypto enthusiasts, we sometimes make the mistake of leaving a lot of fingerprints all over, right? We put up a lot of flags that say, "Hey, I'm a crypto enthusiast. I probably have crypto. You should try to hack me," right? And people do, right? If you are posting comments in YouTube with your real name, if you're posting on Reddit with your real name, if you're, or even if you have just some identity, on social media, and you're posting all about crypto, and this can be traced back to your computer, and your computer's online, right? Hackers are going to be attracted to that. They're going to say, hey, this guy's into crypto. He probably holds crypto. We should hack into his computer. We should engage in electronic intrusions here and see if there are any private keys on his computer. Because if you are putting private keys on a device, whether it's your phone or it's your computer, and that computer is ever connected to the internet, you're making a mistake. Do not put your private keys into your phone. Do not put your private keys into your computer, right? Don't store them in some document somewhere on your hard drive. Do not do that, right? I know the thought process when people do this is probably like, oh, I'm one out of so many people. There's like 500,000 people in the subreddit I visit. Who is possibly going to home in on me and try to hack my computer and pull my private keys out of that Google Doc that I have on my computer, whatever it is, however you're storing it electronically in your device that's connected to the internet. You think that you're too small and nobody's going to home in on you. You're going to be safe because you're a member of the herd, and you kind of have like this herd protection. Not the case. We'll find if you search for "my crypto was hacked" on Reddit, or if you Google that, you're going to find entries where people, talk about how they had, their private keys on their phone, in some notes on their phone, and now their crypto's gone, right? So speaking of phones, another very, very common type of electronic intrusion that we have to deal with as crypto holders is the kind outlined in this article. So this is an article from just last month in Florida. It's not about Florida man, but it is in Florida. And this is about a SIM swapping exploit. Criminals will call up your cell company and convince your cell company to do a SIM swap. And then they have access to everything that was stored on your phone, and they can use that to access exchanges like Coinbase, which is exactly what happened in this particular incident. So there are multiple reasons not to store your crypto on an exchange. This SIM swapping problem is one of those. If you store your crypto on the exchange, you might think to yourself, oh, I just, wrote down my password on a piece of paper. I don't have to worry about it. The exchange is safe. Coinbase is insured maybe against hacks, and they're a giant, public corporation now. So I don't need to worry about it. Coinbase will take care of my security for me. No, they will not. If you get SIM swapped and somebody hacks your account, like Coinbase doesn't know. They don't know if, you pretended to hack yourself and now you're trying to defraud Coinbase and really you've got your crypto. If you had your cousin do it and your cousin's got your crypto and going to give it back to you, like Coinbase is not in a position where they're going to be wanting to reimburse you if you get hacked like this, right? The other type of hack exchanges can experience is sort of like what happened to Bitfinex. Bitfinex got hacked and they decided to socialize the losses. Only some accounts actually got drained by the hackers, and they decided to just socialize the losses. Everybody who had an account with Bitfinex lost some Bitcoin, right? If you had a Bitcoin account there, you lost a little bit of Bitcoin in that hack, regardless of whether or not your account was actually hacked. So it was because they socialized the losses, it wasn't all of your Bitcoin, but it was some percentage of your Bitcoin. And so the exchange can get hacked, or you might get SIM swapped. Maybe the exchange's security is perfect, but you got SIM swapped. Do not store your crypto on an exchange. So do not store your private keys on any device connected to the internet. Those devices can be hacked. Don't put it on your laptop. It can be hacked. Don't put it on your phone. Your phone can be SIM swapped, right? Attackers can use that SIM swap exploit to gain access to things on your phone. Do not put your private keys on your phone. Also, do not put your crypto in exchanges. The SIM swapping exploit can allow them to gain access to the exchange, even if the exchange's security is perfect, right? They can SIM swap your phone. And here in this article, they're even speculating that the hackers SIM swapped the phone and then used two-factor authentication to gain access to Coinbase, right? So do not put your crypto on an exchange. A SIM swap could allow them to access your account, right? And the exchange won't even know. Also, the exchange can get hacked. The exchange itself can get hacked. There's like two totally separate reasons not to put your crypto on an exchange. So where does that leave us? Where do we put our crypto? So depending on how much crypto you have, you should probably put your crypto on a hardware wallet, right? What's that threshold? When do we start thinking about hardware wallets? I would say if you have more crypto than like a paycheck or two. If you have more crypto, if you're holding more crypto than is the equivalent value of a paycheck or two, you should probably put it on a hardware wallet, right? The beauty of a hardware wallet is that it signs the transaction for you, right? Before hardware wallets, if you were going to send your crypto to someone, you needed to sign that transaction with your private key, right? That's how this works. The private key allows you to sign transactions, and then that transaction is broadcast to nodes who broadcast it across the network, and then everybody comes to a consensus that that transaction happened, and it's included in the next block in the blockchain. So a hardware wallet circumvents that. With the hardware wallet, you don't need to input your private key into your computer, which is then connected to the internet, right? So someone who's installed like a keylogger on your system won't see you inputting your private key into your computer when you try to broadcast a transaction. So you know your private key. Your hardware wallet knows your private key so that it can sign transactions for you, but your hardware wallet is built so that it can't transmit that private key to your computer or your phone, which is hooked up to the internet, right? It needs to send a signed transaction to your computer or phone, whatever you're using, but it doesn't have a way to send your private keys. It just signs the transaction and then it sends the signed transaction to your computer or your phone. And you have to physically push a button to get your hardware wallet to send that signed transaction, right? The vast majority of crypto hacks don't involve a cat burglar sneaking into your house and doing anything physically. They're all electronic intrusions, right? Not all of them, but vast majority are electronic intrusions. This solves that problem. Somebody to get crypto to be sent from an address controlled by your hardware wallet, somebody needs to actually push that button, right? And that is not how crypto, largely that's not how crypto gets stolen. It's all electronic intrusions, right? So that's the case unless you do something bad with your private key, because you still have a private key. Even though your hardware wallet can't send your private key to whatever device is going to broadcast the transaction to the network over the internet, you still have a private key, which you're going to probably write down on a piece of paper when you set up your hardware wallet. We need to talk about that for a second, right? So I want you to imagine a scenario. Let's say you're a good crypto holder, you're a good Cardano holder, you get a hardware wallet, your Cardano's on your hardware wallet, which probably works with both Yoroi and Daedalus. If you have a Ledger, I've used Ledger Nano S's for years. They work great with Yoroi and Daedalus. They're fantastic. So let's say you have your hardware wallet and you wrote down your private keys on a piece of paper, right? And then you go away on vacation and your house burns down. in which case your hardware wallet melted and the piece of paper you wrote your private key on burned. This is another scenario where you lose your crypto. You were the only one that knew your private key. Your hardware wallet knew your private key, and you knew it because you wrote it down on that piece of paper. But both burned up in the fire, right? So this seems like a far-fetched possibility that my house burns down. But houses do burn down, right? Regardless of whether you have crypto or not, your house could burn down. There's a very simple way to help mitigate this danger, and that's to not store your private key just on a piece of paper. There are all kinds of products now made out of steel and other metal materials that hopefully would survive a fire that you can put your private key on, right? If you live in an apartment or a condo and you have units above you and they have plumbing, sometimes that plumbing leaks and it leaks water into your unit. And of course, if paper and water meet, the results are bad for legibility often. So again, the sort of metal-based solutions for this work great. So if you've got an amount of crypto that you'd be super sad to lose, get a hardware wallet. Don't store it on an exchange. Don't put the private keys anywhere on any device that is in any way connected to the internet. If you're worried about things like water damage and fire, which you should be if you have enough crypto, probably get one of those little metal solutions, right? There's all kinds of different companies that make those now. If you're curious about how much hardware wallets actually cost, I've used Ledger Nano S's for years, very reliably, no problems. Looks like they currently go for $59 on the Ledger website. Definitely buy it directly, buy your hardware wallets directly from the manufacturer. There's a link down below. It's an affiliate link, which again means I make a small commission if you buy one, but buy your hardware wallet directly from the manufacturer so that no one can tamper with it along the supply chain. And I've had great luck with Ledger Nano S's. What about physical intrusions? Jokingly, sometimes referred to in the crypto community as the claw hammer exploit. This would be when someone figures out you are likely to have a lot of crypto. They take you or your significant other captive, duct tape you to a chair, and they break out the claw hammer and tell you it's either the claw hammer or you give them your private key, or more likely the location of the piece of paper you wrote your private key down on, right? Obviously, this might be kind of hard to combat unless you've been spending some time doing the John Wick stuff. The John Wick stuff is beyond the scope of this channel, so we won't talk about all of that. But barring those kinds of things, there are probably some common sense things you could do to mitigate whatever remote danger of this kind of horrible event, there might be for you. So if you go around right now talking about your Cardano enthusiasm on social media and you're using your real name, in 5 or 10 years, if Cardano has experienced the same kind of explosive growth that Bitcoin experienced over the last 12 years, then it might be easy for people to figure out that, hey, this guy was a huge Cardano enthusiast back when the price was this low. He might have gigantic holdings now, right? It's probably a much better idea to not use your real name online when you're talking about crypto and Cardano. So a lot of people, they use a pseudonym, they don't use their real name, but they'll leave little breadcrumbs everywhere about who they actually are. Like they'll mention where they work, right? If you use a pseudonym and you say, yeah, I work at this company in this city and I'm trying to get them to adopt Cardano or whatever it is, it might be easy still to figure out who you are. So the best bet probably is don't post in your real name, post under some kind of pseudonym that is not traceable back to you, and don't leave breadcrumbs everywhere about who you actually are. If you do those things, who knows, in 5 or 10 years, you might be sleeping a lot better than if you had advertised to the world that you were involved in Cardano back in these early days. And we are early. So I hope you don't do any of the stupid things that we've talked about. I hope you do all the smart things and that your Cardano is always safe. talk to you tomorrow.